Good evening, ladies, gents, and real ones. It's a book.
Book time.
Book time.
We're bagging our books.
Book.
I'm Chloe.
Booking.
I'm Una.
And I'm Hermes.
Let's go.
And this is the Black Flag book bag.
Theme song time. You could have it all. My empire of dirt. I will let you down.
Stop this!
I will make you squirt.
That really ties into the reading because as soon as the chapter starts, the Nine Inch Nails start playing songs at the
Nails.
Red Revolver bar.
Yeah. That's honestly
they're playing.
It's great that this was published by Hallmark, so that we
playing
could
their
get the
music.
audio right in the book.
But then I thought it was odd that they decided to drop like a nuclear bomb right after that, and then it was just like many pages of just this nuclear bomb going off, and then it quickly just the chapter devolves into the last third of Evangelion. Oh, wait, fuck. Oh, I think I read the wrong thing. I think I read season 3, episode 8 of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I think you just watched Twin Peaks.
I may have just watched Twin Peaks.
That episode's really good though.
Twin Peaks.
What? It's okay. It'll be fine. I just have
think-
extensive notes on that episode.
I listen. Just when we'll go through our notes on Debt, and then whenever you find something in your notes on Twin Peaks that relates, just feel free to jump in. No pressure.
Oh, were we taking notes on Debt?
What did you take notes on?
My random thoughts that just kind of popped into my head while I was reading Debt.
Okay, that's fine.
No, it's going to be all etymology. It's going to be all words.
Our
hate it
local
when I
I'm
don't
just going to
know
be like,
include
where did the
words.
word the come
local
from?
etymologist Una.
Where does the word "the" come from?
You probably know, fucking nerd.
Why did I get hit for that?
You know what I'm doing instead of carrying... You know what I'm doing instead of what... wondering what words mean?
Getting
Jacking
bitches.
off.
Lighten up a joint.
We all said 3 different things.
Yeah, Chloe was closer though.
I think you were closer, actually.
Like physically,
I think
yes.
I was the closest because I just lit up a joint.
I don't care what you think.
Like what I'm doing.
So it was chapters
Chapter
7 and 8.
Honor and degradation,
Yep.
and
Chapter 8.
The credit versus bullion.
Chapter 8 was
Credit
real short.
versus soup.
Chapter 8 was very short. It was just a history of soup. Not much to say
Chapter
there.
8 was
Just
a
soup.
relief after fucking chapter
Did we
7.
read different? Oh, because you took your book, so I had to find an online version.
Yeah.
So mine might not have included anything about soup.
It should have.
Oh,
Credit
did
versus
you not
bullion.
have the new and expanded edition?
I thought maybe it was mislabeled. It doesn't include like
Yeah, it's credit
like
versus
a cover page
chicken
like
bouillon.
novel EPUBs do. So I couldn't possibly know.
I thought it was interesting they went with chicken bouillon.
Basically,
I
credit.
feel like most of the time you see like beef or vegetable. They're the same thing, you just pay people in soup cubes, and
Yeah.
Man, that's why Antifa's weaponization of soup was such a alarming attack
Can I just say something real
On
serious
the-
for a moment?
Yeah.
in traditional things. No.
Saying that my
Oh, and
notes
we have a
would all
tie.
be about words, and then doing a long ass bit about the word bully. Who's the real fucking loser here?
You, still. What do you mean? You're the one who didn't read the soup version.
How many How many joints are you smoking?
None. I'm too poor for that shit.
Exactly. I'm like, oh wait, no, fuck. Elon Musk ruined smoking weed on a podcast. I'm doing meth. I'm
Did you
smoking meth
not?
actually. I'm doing something cool.
Okay, we need to focus
I'm
up before my wife gets distracted and kills me.
Oh, I didn't know there was a no knives rule at the podcast.
put your knife away.
Chapter
So this
7.
anthropology
7.
book, right?
Slavery.
Is that what it's about?
Largely talks about that.
Oh.
Um,
Let's see.
it talks about the role of slavery in the establishment of markets.
I just assumed y'all would have notes on that. My notes don't cover that.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm also gonna upload my fucking notes too. So if you want to look at mine, yeah, I really did like this fucking chapter. The intro before it breaks off into like different sections is just largely about how like slavery is what led to markets.
Okay, your
Like
first note is
they're
essentially
like
the
the
same as my first
foundation.
note. That's crazy. It's almost like we read the same book.
My first note is washerwomen are presented as
That's
the lowest form of labor in Ireland, yet later texts present instead the scullery maid. When did degradation shift from shirts to pots?
That's a great
That's
question.
like the third section.
Yeah, I told you, I only took notes on my thoughts. I didn't take notes on the book.
So anyway,
And it also ties it back to like honor systems where like honor systems led directly to slavery, and that ties perfectly into the first section of the chapter 7, which is just that honor is surplus dignity.
slavery plays a unique role in the rise of markets everywhere. Slavery seems to precede the existence of markets. One could say that slaves are among the first things to become commodities. They like set the precedent for the buying and selling of things at specific cost. But also notable.
Yeah, what was
Also notable that people pretty much everywhere where slavery exists also kind of seem to consider slavery to be like weird or unnatural. Even if they do see it as necessary or good, they very much don't consider it to be the way of the world.
I don't know if this is like really jumping the gun on that, but I think the invention of the white race.
By
Yeah.
Theodore W. Allen?
No, just the conception that there are people and then there are people-shaped things. That the notion of race itself came long after any of this. I feel like it's because like in this, like there was the mention of like Romans essentially seeing being a slave as just a thing that happens to you, and like, but like obviously when we get to like American history, like the U.S., that's not at all how people see it. Because we created this lovely concept of race that makes it very easy to say that there are some people who just kind of, that doesn't just happen to them, that is who they are. Which, that's cool.
Graeber talks about that in chapter 8 a little bit.
Yeah.
That just like racism was designed as a way of convincing people that slavery was okay. Because like people had to be told that, oh, there is a there is a race of people who are just inherently lesser, because the dominant attitude in Europe at the time was actually that enslaving people was bad. And so they had to be convinced that certain people weren't people or were lesser people.
Yeah. You know, like, a lot of people actually reference, like, the Greek concept of climes as something of an origin of race, which is just, like, no. like they acknowledged that people from different places are different, but, like, there's no reason that acknowledging difference necessarily means, like, a classification of a person.
Mm-hmm.
I hate taxonomies.
But yeah, Ali Abd al-Wahid Wafi identified 4 ways in which people become slaves, either through force, meaning either surrender or capture in war, or raiding and kidnapping, as punishments for crimes, which includes debt, paternal authority, your father selling you as a slave, or through selling yourself as a slave, and notes that typically this only ever happens when the only alternative is die.
You know, Asanagi's name.
And that's why,
insurance.
like, okay, go off.
That's it. That's the statement. That's all. I didn't really have anything planned. I just figure we could draw a lot of implication from it.
Just free Luigi. I unironically think he didn't do it.
Yeah, I actually just do not believe he did it at all. I think the guy's still out there. And that's
insane story. Insane story. Oh, you got caught using a fake ID at McDonald's. What?
Yeah, no way.
I'm sorry. Huh?
The whole fucking thing is so sketchy. Like,
oh, the backpack we found in New York is conveniently on you at the same time.
We searched his backpack and then resealed it and then looked through it for evidence. Yeah, police have never planted evidence on anyone ever. Sure.
Looked through his backpack, which was, by the way, embroidered with the words "I love killing CEOs."
Also, it's like manifesto is just like the most definitely
the
written
FBI
by a
is
cop
really
thing.
cool.
I think the real killer is still out there, and that horrifies us all. You know, he's still walking among us.
Any, like, insurance CEO could just drop dead at any minute now, and that's...
God, I hope so.
That would be so funny. Do it if you're. Hold on.
I'd like to see some real
That's
life
probably not a good
teabagging
idea.
happening here.
Mm-hmm.
The funniest thing would be to do it again. There we go.
Yeah,
that's safe.
We've brought this up before, that like just modern instances of debt are just ways of keeping people enslaved, because capitalism and statecraft in general depend on slavery. They depend on forced labor to function.
I gotta pull out the wild quote.
Yeah.
In a lot of places, slavery was literally, like, tied back to... Currencies were literally, like, tied back to slaves. Mm-hmm. Like, they're based on the price of, like, a slave girl.
Yeah, like,
or
like the Irish Kamal is literally just slave
So
girl.
hot.
Yeah.
And wait, where's fuck, we didn't set up the little keyboard. Shit.
Little keyboard.
Yeah, if you're
Una just has a smaller keyboard.
Those who are fans of Chloe and Una's Tentacular Experience, you'll know the soundboard we have, where every time one of us discovers a new fetish, we play a sound.
Here, just read my second note.
Una's second note. Why does the notion of slave women as currency make me so damn horny? That's because you're a bottom.
No. Jesus Christ.
Una wants to be used as currency.
So hot.
But this is the part of the chapter where, like, you know, there's just like this gas station with like a weird strobe light, and like
Light?
there's like lag, and like these like coal miner looking guys running around, and it's like lagging, and it looks like my bandwidth isn't really like it's like not buffering correctly. But like every time I check to see if something's wrong, it's like nothing's wrong. This is just how it is. And like I think David Graeber, really, yeah, those guys.
Really did
Yeah,
take the
the
wrong
fucking-
notes.
They're lumberjacks.
Oh, lumberjacks. Okay, well they were in blackface, so I was like, I was like, hey, best case these guys are supposed to be coal miners.
I mean, they're not in blackface.
But, no,
They're just in dirt face.
It's a pretty dark dirt.
I mean, it's nighttime as well. It's nighttime
Look,
and their
David
whole
Lynch
bodies
is
are
dead.
covered in
You know,
dirt.
we can cancel him.
We're not canceling David Lynch.
The fact is that civilization requires slaves. The Greeks were quite right there. Unless there are slaves to do the ugly, horrible, uninteresting work, culture and contemplation become almost impossible. Human slavery is wrong, insecure, and demoralizing.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite Irish faggot said it right.
Oscar Wilde, in his statement on Falk.
On mechanical slavery, on the slavery of the machine, the future of the world depends. Oh yeah, Oscar Wilde was into automation, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
The section on ancient Greece, I really, really fucking adored, because it just describes like how everything fucks up when they tried to adopt like money. They like immediately have debt crises and have to sell their kids into slavery, and then money allows like pirates and kidnappers and shit, which didn't happen in like their credit society.
Mm-hmm.
And then it also like caused moral confusion amongst people, which like
You know, that it also
caused
caused moral confusion among
moral
David Graeber,
ethics
as
and-
per the first chapter on the experience of moral confusion.
Look, that was like 6 months ago. Like, you know, I can't be bothered to. I guess I could scroll up. Is that really what it's called?
Yeah, it was like
Oh,
it
shit.
was like a month ago.
Oh shit. Shit. No way. That was
A
so
month and a
long
half
ago.
ago.
We recorded that 16 years ago.
Yeah.
I have like a big gray beard now.
So, you know, Graeber asserts that for all intents and purposes, a slave is effectively dead, you know, to in response to Al-Wahid's assertion that someone becomes a slave when the other choice is to be dead. You know, they're like socially dead. Ain't that intriguing?
Because it's the ultimate form of being ripped from context and social relations.
Yeah, this is
So like no
something that
family, ancestors, community, clan, etc.
Yeah, this is something that he's been emphasizing throughout the book, is that, you know, people become slaves when they are, like, ripped from any sort of context or social relationships. You know, generally speaking, people don't enslave their brother. They may exploit their brother, but very few people in history have enslaved them.
Until the invention of currency.
No, even while currency existed. It doesn't exist anymore, though. Now we have something better than currency. Vibes and aura.
I don't know. Have you read The Count of Monte Cristo? People just aura farm their siblings. Disgusting.
I feel nothing about this.
What?
I feel nothing about this.
Okay.
Nothing.
Medieval Ireland.
As I said.
Oh, the origin of patriarchy was in this section too,
Was it?
Yeah.
which
Oh,
was
right.
yeah,
Oh, I see it
Mesopotamia,
there.
origins of patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
The the comparison of places with low population but lots of land had like the bride wealth, which was what's the bride wealth? They give the feast to the bride's father
Mm-hmm.
versus dowry, which is they pay the husband's family,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah,
I always get those fucking
and
backwards.
the dowry is
But
a
like
gift that comes alongside the woman, whereas bride wealth is something you pay for the right to marry a woman.
dowries, hey, thanks for taking this bitch off our hands.
In some societies, dowry is considered a down payment on the cost of having a wife.
Yeah.
Or, I guess the way they like to talk about it, in case your husband fucks off and dies, you have something to live off of.
Yeah.
Not that it's ever actually used like that, but that's the notion.
Yeah, that is the notion. The idea is, well, when your husband goes to war, as he should.
Right, because that's what men are for.
Men are for going to war. But also, that's kind of like one of the ways in which patriarchy emerges, is the importance of war and conquest, as opposed to not doing that.
I'm pretty sure patriarchy in this case means patriarchy and not, patriarchy.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he said that.
Yeah. Patriarchy in the very literal original sense of
The fathers as heads of house or something.
Yeah, male-dominated households. Fathers as the owners of their wife and children.
I do feel like the passage about bride price evolving from giving the dad a feast to like you have to give the father the amount of silver of what a slave girl would cost is it's fucking crazy. Like it's just like it just shows like how it like slavery just like infects every aspect of culture that like fucking happens around it. And like
I think it's...
Sorry, I thought I had something more.
I think it's way outside the scope of this book, which is like why it just like gets touched on here and there. But the commodification of sex, like that's like a big part of the patriarchy thing. Of like the sex as essentially a commodity of a family, like the ability to use it to, garner connections and wealth is kind of founded in the patriarchal structure, which is, also just kind of insane when you think about it. Because, like, in like a sex negative society, they compare like premarital sex to essentially like to being like a bestial thing, an inhuman, degrading thing, which makes zero fucking sense. I obviously, like, before that, as you know, like, it was considered like a divine gift to humanity that we could just do it for fun, which makes way more sense.
People just fuck.
Yeah.
People were just fucking. My note for that section is people weren't sex negative nerds till patriarchy ?
Yeah, my note on that section was I think Enkidu should have killed Gilgamesh.
Yeah. I mean, isn't that your note on every section?
Yes. I think it would have been very
one
cool
of my
him to
goals
do
in life
that.
is to find an older story than Gilgamesh, just so that I can yell it at Gilgamesh people. The first story
Yeah,
that
like,
we
there's,
found.
he described, like, no, I don't have a complete thought on that, actually. Never mind.
You don't have any complete thoughts on sex?
Yeah.
No, they all boil down to
Complete
nice.
sex stuff.
Start thinking about sex gets so hard I pass out. Was this the section where you started talking about veiling?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up, but I didn't actually have a complete thought on it.
Yeah, it's hard to have a complete thought on veiling.
Yeah.
Veiling?
Veiling?
Women wearing veils.
Oh,
Like-
yeah. I think so.
Like in,
I didn't write a note on that, though.
What the fuck?
it became like
Well, that was a
like,
Greek thing.
Yeah, like it became like law and custom in Greece for women to have to wear veils in public, but like specifically like prostitutes were not allowed to wear veils, and there was like punishment for prostitutes and harlots wearing veils, but there wasn't punishment for proper women not wearing veils, because it's just assumed that why would you want to dress like a prostitute?
Yeah, the punishment is you degrading yourself.
You've already punished yourself by not wearing it.
Yeah. Scroll down. I think.
Which is very silly.
Was that mentioned in the? Yeah, that was probably more mentioned in the Greek section, but it was mentioned. Graeber did mention that wasn't a uniquely Greek thing, and obviously nowadays it's not even a Greek thing at all. You think veils at weddings also derive from that?
That makes sense. Yeah, he does point out that in the modern world we associate veils with the non-Western world, but ironically its origins are in ancient Greece, where a place that we very much identify as being the origins of the Western world.
Greece.
It exists. It is my intention to learn a lot more about Greece in the future, but I don't know much about it now.
I shot my Greek load earlier and accidentally set all my notes for the section out of order. So, sorry.
All good.
I had some notes on the Greece thing. Like,
The Greece incident.
yeah,
The Grincident.
the contradictory honor of wealth and disdain for markets as perhaps making the first makings of a distinction between money for poor people used for common goods and money for rich people, which is used as it was in what Graeber calls human economies, where markets are largely absent from daily necessity.
Yeah, like in Greece, it was a signal of wealth to not participate in the market. Very intriguing.
And like we see that like later on in society, you kind of get like this like obviously like wealthy people still interact with the market, but they themselves can't literally go to a market.
Jeff Bezos does not go grocery shopping.
or even probably know what most things like cost. I mean, it's literally the Arrested Development
Yeah,
fucking what can a banana cost thing.
Does do we find in ancient Greece in the notion of rich people money, rich people wealth, rich people uh, distribution of resources, not participating in the market? Do we find there the origins of Veblen's concept of conspicuous consumption?
perhaps.
Very cool.
I think that part's short. I think that part's right after the like big white ray figure from Evangelion starts shooting like a big white cum blob, and they go back to the Willy Wonka tunnel, and then it focuses in on like a gold blob, which I can only imagine is the what happened to the One Ring from Lord of the Rings once it like melted. And then immediately we're at like a evil Star Wars castle, and it's like a black and white
Relatedly, the notion
1920s
of
room.
self-sufficiency as an opposition to markets makes so much sense it's kind of weird that it became the mark of libertarians and apocalyptic madmen.
That's a sentence that Una said. I agree with it.
It is. I think that's around the point that you started asking me what a country villa in Greece even looked like.
Oh yeah, me and Una got in a discussion after we read this that like the book keeps bringing up, the notion of villas and wealth and housing and things like that in ancient Greece, and I kind of realized that I've never it's never been explained to me exactly what that means. Like because I'm stupid. I don't know, because I'd never looked into it. But I feel like that's something that should have been explained to me at some point. I don't know.
So I'll try my best.
Yeah.
Right. A villa, in the classical sense, which is medieval and before, is an estate. So it's not a particular building. It's a whole land lot property that is intended to be self-sufficient and also later on kind of a center of power for a self-sufficient like township. But I believe in the Greek era, it would essentially be that you have your big fancy house where you reside, but you also have quarters for servants and such, and you have land. Yeah, you have arable land, and you would usually have livestock along with it because it is supposed to be entirely self-sufficient.
Also important, other than the like arable land where they would grow like wheat or whatever grain they were doing, they would also very specifically have gardens for horticulture as opposed to agriculture.
Yeah, which of course we see later on as more of a show of wealth that you have a garden at all.
They strike me as like a primitive version, or like the predecessor to like the like feudal serfdoms,
Yeah, it's insane
with
how
like
I
the
said
castle
that.
and like.
Go on.
Oh, no, that was mean.
The castles are a completely different thing.
No.
Yeah.
No, castles are a different thing.
Yeah, you're talking about manors.
Castles are military installations.
Manors are villas.
Yeah. Okay.
Manors in feudal Europe were based off of villas in Rome, which were based off of villas in Greece.
And there's that.
It's the yeah.
A big point of discussion we had that we could. I'm not sure if we found a like 100% certain answer, is whether or not the buildings had multiple stories.
I think a lot of the stuff I saw implied it, but it's kind of Okay, the structure of Greek homes in ancient Greece is fun because it's very hard to find out anything about it without stumbling on to the fact that the Romans just copied it.
Yeah, like you just when looking up ancient Greek villas, you find a lot of images and artist interpretations of Roman villas. And it's hard to tell, was this a Roman spin on the Greek villa, or is this something they stole wholeheartedly from the Greeks?
Yeah, like the Romans had the 3 couch room.
Mm-hmm,
The room with the 3 couches.
They had a room that had 3 couches in it.
Yeah, it had 3 couches. Whereas the Greeks didn't that room, because it's the formal dining room. In the Greeks equivalent, it would just have any odd number so that there would be a gap facing the door, which obviously 3 is a very easy number for that. It's easy to put 3 couches in a room. They're not really couches, but we don't really have a word for what they are other than couch.
Yeah, well,
They're like lounge seats.
There's a Latin word for the room.
Yeah, it's like chlamydia.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember what it was. I just wanted to watch you struggle.
Okay. But yeah, the Greeks would have that, and then adjacent they would have the after party room, the man cave. It's literally the Wikipedia page for it has see also man cave. It's great.
No.
It is.
No.
What do you mean? Aw.
I said no. I refuse to believe
You
that.
refuse to believe that the Greeks had man caves?
You refuse to believe that the Greeks invented the concept of the man cave.
Okay, it's like this, right? You have your formal dining room where you have your full meal and whatnot, right? And then after the meal, you hang out in an adjacent room where you just like sip wine and stuff. And that's the man cave because it's exclusive to the men in the house. Women aren't allowed in it. And the women had their own
Oh my
room.
god, that's where a bunch of Plato's books take place.
Yeah,
It's
the
literally
symposium.
There's a sign on the door that says
Yeah.
no chicks.
Yeah. No, the symposium is what
There's just femboys.
what the hanging out in the room is called. I don't think it's what the room's called like man cave, but in Greek.
Yeah.
It's like
I want to put
Andrea
out
or
my
something.
official statement. I want to put out my official statement on the symposium and that it's bad, it's terrible,
Oh, you don't like after
and
parties?
it's
Yeah, you don't like after parties? You don't like chilling in the man cave?
I
You're just dine and dash?
don't, not
You hate foosball? Is that it?
not with a bunch of. I'm not going into a man cave with a bunch of pedophiles.
It's called an andron.
I'm good.
So
or
you hate,
androgynous.
so you hate foosball.
Actually, it's ebophilia.
And of course, obviously, they have the gynaecium for the
Oh.
women's.
That's where women go and
Yeah,
flex
or the
their
go
pussies
and
or
do,
something.
do women stuff like have gay sex and like yarn has something to do with it.
I see. So, this is a question for our listeners. When did multi-story architecture outside of monumental architecture start happening?
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure the Greeks had it because I don't know. Normally, people show the gynaecium as directly above the andron, which is funny. Like women are above me,
Real.
but like
Women do belong on top.
because like I
Yeah.
know the Greeks
Una at
didn't
top,
do it,
okay.
but like a
Una's
lot
a
of European and also like ancient Chinese architecture, you see it a lot too. I don't know about other places, but the ground floor would be kind of like a dirt space.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just like where you would keep your animals and stuff. And then you'd have a floor above that would be the actual first floor, and that would, be stilted up. And that but like that's that was common throughout like the first millennium, but I believe because the Greeks didn't initially build out of like marble and stone. It was initially all wood in architecture, but that all is gone now for unknown reasons.
Wood goes away.
Oh, is that where dirt comes from?
One of the places, yes.
Okay.
Sea wood.
Yeah, no, the Japanese were right. You don't want that shit going away, so you burn it.
The thing about
I don't know how
Hell
to
yeah.
explain
the thing
it.
about wooden architecture is it's really easy to get rid of, whether through fire or time. It does just kind of.
No, but like you can make it resistant to a lot of that by charring it, which is neat. But
Yeah,
anyway, a lot of Greek architecture
So there's
is based on
wooden
stuff.
buildings in America.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, please go on. I want to hear about these wooden buildings in America, considering I live in one.
Gross.
I need to understand what I've got.
That are made out of old wood, and the like there's the feeding more and more fewer and fewer buildings, made out of old wood, because like most of the old wood forests in America are dead. I think there's like just the one small one left. So like these buildings will get like, this barn will get like, oh, we're not going to use this barn anymore. Let's just take the wood apart and go build it somewhere else, and it'll last for like for fucking ever. Because it's like made out of like old fucking wood that's like strong and sturdy and fucking made to last, rather than like the bullshit we're used to, which is like
Cheap softwood.
paper
Anyway,
in comparison.
I'm a huge fan
Yeah.
of
I
old
think
wood. Milk's hit me up.
Sorry.
the real reason why we don't see a lot of it is essentially urbanization, because a lot of ancient Greek cities are still cities to this day. They just rebuilt stuff over thousands of years. And also because like some of the examples of like purely ancient Greek architecture in towns we find are because the entire town was raised at one point, so everyone moved out. So obviously you wouldn't find like a lot of more delicate stuff, but I do think that they had multi-story architecture in kind of this era. Also, he mentions the agora, and I would just like to say that I hate that. I am agoraphobic.
You are agoraphobic, but do you mean something more specific by that? Like,
No.
just like the concept, the word.
Oh, I hate places that people hang out. That
Oh, okay,
sucks.
so yeah, you
That
are.
you should
this
only-
This is just you being literally agoraphobic.
Yeah. You should have work, your house.
Be
Why?
careful about what you say next.
A bar? But yeah, ancient Greece. Who'da thunk? Let's move on to Rome.
Which rolls,
Let's roam on over to
directly
Rome.
into ancient Rome. Which, where in Greece they showed moral confusion, Rome was just like, let's just immediately institutionalize debt.
Yeah.
Let's make it like our whole thing.
Yeah, so the problem with Rome as opposed to Greece is that it still exists today, unlike Greece, which doesn't.
Oh shit, wait, no, I had more notes on Greece.
Oh, shit.
Let's see. Kind of interesting how closely slavery is tied to colonialism, not just with the African slave trade, but with ancient Greek expansionism as well. I think that's kind of tied into the honor stuff. With the fact that people don't want slaves in their house, for the most part. Like they're in the civilized center of everything. They don't need these people without rights hanging around them, and so they it becomes an ample labor force for expansion. Anyone got anything to say about this?
Well, it kind of connects back to the statement earlier on slavery being unnatural. It's not. It's probably a little bit of a combination of I don't want to be around these lesser people. I'm better than them, but also a bit of like I don't want to be reminded of the fact that I am living off of the labor of slaves.
Yeah.
Even if there is a purely elitist argument to that you don't want to be reminded that your livelihood is dependent on people that you view as lesser, you know. But also there's the non-elitist argument that being reminded that your livelihood is based on forced labor is disconcerting.
That's where money comes in handy, because in Greece it acted as a way to be anonymous.
Yeah, it anonymizes
and, like it
interaction.
It obfuscates, where it came from, what it's used
No
for.
questions asked.
It's just money. It's just money, baby.
It's just money. Don't worry about it.
Just cold hard money.
This one's kind of a tangent, but also this whole honor thing is perhaps the answer to the annoying instance of prostitution being a state of being rather than an act. One cannot simply exchange a handjob for $20 without being fundamentally a whore in the moral view of society. Which, it's funny that they don't apply the same thing to slavery. We should get rid of that
so I can offer my friends $20.
Well, it's kind of like this idea that there are lines that if you cross them, you are the type of person who crosses them. Rather than like, oh, you had an instance where you had to cross this line. It's, most people wouldn't do it. Therefore, you are one of the people that would.
It's like gayness in like the cis like male community, fucking like where it's like you suck one dick and you're gay. It doesn't matter if you're bisexual, you're pan. Yeah, you're just gay now.
It's like
are you pan? Are you non-binary? Are you trans? Are you a lesbian? Are you anything that's not you're gay. Like which is why
my
everything is gay.
Which is why I assert that yes, pegging does make you gay.
Oh.
Everything makes you gay.
Yeah, like, I mean, gay is just not straight. And if getting pegged is something that people see as making you not straight, then you are gay. Accept
sex
that
with
and
a
move
furry
on with your life. Do not be subsumed into the straightness.
Having sex with a furry is gay. I've had this discussion with a friend before.
It's the one drop rule.
They were like,
behavior.
how is this a queer relationship?
Speaking of pirates and kidnappers.
Oh yeah.
The market anonymity. There was that story of the one Greek guy needing to like raise money by borrowing it to like buy himself or whatever. My note on that was just, oh god, are bail bonds really that old?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
It's yeah.
They're probably the oldest thing ever.
No,
we've talked about many older things here.
Yeah, have you considered the quark?
No,
you consider cork.
Considered dinosaurs? Those are pretty
cork.
Old.
Actually, I don't.
Have you considered cork in it, eh?
Is actually the usage of cork isn't that old.
What about the usage of leptons?
Quirk.
But also, rich people cork is literally different than poor people cork. I don't think people understand that.
Rich people everything is different than poor people everything. Money works differently when you're rich.
Like, okay, when they harvest cork, right, it's a big sheet of, like, I don't know if that's technically bark or, like, a sub-bark thing. But, and obviously, what you want out of a cork is it not having like any holes through it, but that's very hard because it's a fucking tree, right? You get lots of like holes through it. So when they harvest like the little cylinders of cork, they always aim for all of the perfect sections that don't have any holes in them, and those are the ones that rich people get. But for the rest of it, they like reconstitute it. They like take shreds of it and like force it together and like compact it into a new shape, which is like what like cheaper corks are and like cork board and whatnot. It's just crazy.
I sure hope I get a really cool quirk like you, All Might.
What?
Don't worry about it. Okay.
I don't know what this is.
Don't worry about it.
I watch Yuri.
I also watch Yuri.
Well, so now it's on to the much superior chapter.
Rome.
Oh wait, did we talk
We
about
haven't
Rome?
talked about Rome yet. So Rome is
fuck.
still
We
alive.
didn't-
It's called
the same
Korea.
thing. It's just
Why
Greece,
is this your best?
Greece 2.
Greece too.
Greece 2.
Korea.
I refuse to believe that Rome exists. Rome is Italian propaganda to make us think that the Mamma Mia pizza guys invented
No,
civilization.
so Rome
It didn't
was
happen.
what happens when the Etruscans got really horny for Greek culture.
The modern inheritor of
I don't
Rome
believe it. I
is
don't believe.
North Korea.
I think they lied. They moved. Rome is just a bunch of Greek stuff. They moved to Italy, and they're like,
There is a whole thing about
look at
Greeks
what we
moving
built
to
over
Rome in
here.
here. Well, yeah, no, they just copied it.
Hey.
The 3 couches. They
They took the couches and everything.
The Roman domus is literally a copy of the Greek word for house. Whatever it was, I forgot already. Oikoi? Oikos?
Yeah, like us.
It's Italian guy steals everything from his neighbor, and lies and says it was his the whole time. Oh, what a surprise!
That's crazy.
Did that happen to you? Did an Italian guy steal all your stuff? And... It's just like an
He
oddly...
stole my fucking patio furniture.
It's just like an oddly specific thing.
You say Rome is the more interesting chapter, but you have 4 notes on the 20 pages or whatever that it was.
I thought we did Rome, and we were getting into the credit and soup.
Oh no,
That's what I was thinking. No, we're still on Rome. Sadly,
So Rome actually not doing a bit here about Korea being the true inheritor of Roman culture. It is, but actually,
North Korea or South
North
Korea?
Korea, the one Korea, duh. Listen, I've got no
Unoccupied
special
Korea?
love for North Korea, but I do have a special hate for South Korea.
Also, it is legitimately the actual continuation of Korea. I don't.
Well, you don't like Marxist-Leninist monarchism?
I don't know how you see that as monarchism, actually.
Did you try?
Yeah, what do you think monarchism
They change
is?
titles every time. They change their titles every time. It's okay.
Anyway, Rome still exists, and it's the
Hereditary
entire
rule?
world because we all live under Roman property law.
And the origin of those private property laws is slavery, because you had to dehumanize people in laws. So
Yeah.
it fucking
I'm gonna
Sorry. Yeah.
I'm gonna probably literally just quote the book here. I don't have the quote written down, but I've read it enough times that I think it's just ingrained in my brain, burned into it. That Roman law describes property as being a relationship of absolute power of a person over a thing. And Graeber says this doesn't make any fucking sense, because if there was only you know, if we have a world of one person and, you know, a tree or whatever, and there's no one else in this world, and they eat fruit from the tree, they take branches from the tree to use as firewood, blah blah, whatever. Does this person have a relationship with this tree, and is it a relation of absolute power, and do they own that tree? The answer is, who cares? Who knows? It doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. It only matters whether or not this person owns this tree if there suddenly is a second person in the equation. And then it's a question of, well, who gets to eat the fruit from the tree? So the Romans described their property law as being about a relationship of absolute power of the individual over things. But in reality, it's a relationship between people about who gets to do what with what. And we still live under that system today. And we're incredibly fucked because of it.
Yeah, property is theft.
Yeah. Can you believe that they called a guy Proud Hun?
My note on this was, can we blame the
No,
Romans for
God
the perception
damn
of
it.
children as property? Honestly, been hoping for someone to pin that to, though maybe it's a natural conclusion of transactional society.
I think it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
I do need someone to pin that to.
Yeah, we can blame Rome for that.
The Greeks using slavery in Rome as a way to gain Roman citizenship, which is pretty neat and set something of an absolute precedent that we're stuck with to this day, if you think about it. That citizenship is basically founded on this notion of labor within and for a specific state, despite the fact that it was more of a legal loophole at the time, with the fact that, like, because you were, like, manumitted in Rome, you were therefore a Roman citizen. But, like, using, getting a job in a country or something, or becoming a slave in a country as a way to get into their system and to become a citizen is kind of true to this day, and that's fucking absurd, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've been saying about these Greek anchor slaves. They sell themselves into slavery just to get citizenship, and then suddenly they're voting, and suddenly Rome becomes Greece. It's Roman genocide.
Rome was Greece the whole time.
These Greeks are coming into our country
They're bringing
and
olive
they're
oil.
selling themselves into slavery. They're bringing pasta.
They're bringing euros.
They're bringing hummus. They're basically...
They're bringing Kalamata olives. They're bringing feta cheese. They're bringing tzatziki.
Avgalimino.
That's one of your comfort words.
Racist Roman Donald Trump.
I don't even remember what it is. What the fuck is Avgalimino?
They say, "Oh, we have to stab Caesar. We have to stab Caesar." They say this because they're haters. They're haters and they're losers. They're sick of all the winning that I'm doing. They're sick of all the winning. They don't like to see me win.
Avgalimino is a silky and fragrant sauce made of eggs, lots of lemon, and warm broth. Egg lemon sauce.
Implying that Trump is the reincarnation of Julius Caesar has a lot of implications depending on your
on your perspective of Caesar.
Yeah.
This Michael Parenti guy is actually pretty cool. Have you ever heard him talk? He calls me, he says, oh, hey, Italian Donald Trump, you're such a cool guy.
What are you doing?
I think this was at
Yeah,
the end
actually,
of the
it's
section, but I just put an entire quote from the book in here.
I do that occasionally.
Yeah, the strange fantasies of liberal philosophers about the origins of human society and some collection of 30 to 40-year-old males who seem to have sprung from the earth fully formed, who then must decide whether to kill each other or swap beaver pelts. What a banging line. Thanks, Graeber.
He truly was the goat.
It's a banger.
I often have to decide whether we should kill each other or swap beaver pelts.
Yeah.
Economy is truth. The one true natural science.
Why don't we call the podcast the David Graeber Circle Jerk?
Because we're going to read other books.
Oh.
Eventually.
Someday we'll finish this one. We're actually getting pretty close to the end of this one.
It's a shame.
Soup!
There's literally no mention of soup in the chapter.
I don't know what book you read, but there was
Credit versus bouillon. Bouillon.
Avgalemino.
So like
I thought it was interesting that a lot of people these days pride themselves on how in the modern era we have finally abolished slavery. In a formal legal sense, slavery still exists, and things which you could very reasonably argue to be slavery still exist. But Graeber also points out that slavery has been effectively or mostly abolished many times throughout history, including even in Europe during what we call the Dark Ages. Now, Dark Ages, as we know from Scott, are actually when all the based shit happens. It's just when there's less records of it.
Yeah, nobody's writing stuff down because they're just like hanging out.
We're truly put on this earth to chill.
They're just big chilling. They're just chilling. Humans just want to chill, and every time that's why I love reading anthropology, because it just reveals the one true human nature is the desire to chill the fuck out, and that's why like the hustle grind set people seem like aliens because they are. Yeah. I work 80 hours a day. I hope you die. I hope you die. I hope it kills you.
The more people there are that exist in the world, the less chances there are that the sun will rise tomorrow.
I'll just say it.
Well, look, if we could stop the rotation here.
I'm pretty sure my comment's still thicker than theirs.
I'm not...
No, Hermes, we can't stop the rotation of the Earth, but we can stop the sun from rising.
Big umbrella.
That works too. Cool with that too. But yeah, this is my note here for that same part is where in quote unquote intellectuals had to try to make some races of people less human to try to justify slavery again in Europe because people were like, fuck that shit. Are we supposed to be like Christian? Fuck God and stuff.
Yeah, there was a
and so they didn't want to have fucking horrible slavery.
There's a notion in medieval Europe that one, that no one should be enslaved, but also that if you were going to enslave anyone, it could not be a Christian. You could not enslave a fellow Christian at the very least. Which is why people looking to do slavery had to seek people on other continents to do so, and seek other continents to do it. And then that also came up a lot during the abolition movement. That was a huge thing about it, that like the African slaves did convert to Christianity, and then they were like, well, they're Christians, we can't keep them enslaved. Now, personally, I don't think that we should keep anyone enslaved, regardless of religion. But that it was interesting that one of the things that kept slavery from being reestablished in Europe is also one of the things that, in part, led to its eventual abolition, formally and legally, in the rest of the world.
Fun complication with the you can't do that to a Christian thing was that there were certain arguments that just because someone isn't a Christian doesn't mean they can't be. And so you can't do that to them until they've proven that they desire to not be a Christian. Which is kind of a foundation of a lot of missionary work, and why Mexico's so fucking Catholic now. Which is fantastic.
Very Catholicism.
We should nuke Europe.
Look, we got one pope down. We got line them up.
You know, if you keep killing popes, eventually you'll pull a good one.
Risemara.
I can't wait for Pope Hatsune Miku.
Respinning the Pope like gotcha balls.
We shouldn't have let JD Vance be the first to pull, though. Bad luck.
I think we should send JD Vance to meet every new Pope.
Dalai Lama refuses to meet JD Vance.
Yeah, honestly, let's send JD Vance to meet with every new pope they make. And hell, why not? Let's have JD Vance meet Donald Trump.
They make every pope they make, like he's just like spawned.
Can I say that?
No, Donald Trump was definitely born in a lab to be immune to JD Vance's power.
Oh, can we have JD Vance meet Elon Musk? Also, can I say this?
Yeah.
You're just talking about two dudes meeting. I don't know what it could possibly be implied.
I'm not sure if I legally can say that.
You can say that. It's fine.
I'm gonna edit that out of the podcast,
actually. You just can't incite anybody to violence.
Yeah, inciting JD Vance
to shake his hand.
You can't make an actual threat, and I don't think those are either of those, so it's okay. I think you could say, I want JD Vance to kill Elon Musk. That's totally fine to say.
I do desire
that's totally
Is sedition still legal? I've heard it isn't.
I think it would be one of the top 10 funniest things. Actually, it would be really great for podcast publicity for us to get a visit from the Secret Service.
Yeah. You know what's great is that sedition may be legal, but terrorism, that's illegal. And all sedition is terrorism.
I think the funniest way that they could die is they get into Elon Musk gets into a Twitter argument with somebody, and he's like, "Oh, I said we were gonna be in fucking on Mars by 2026. Well, we're going." And Donald Trump's like, "I believe in you so much, the love of my life.
You are the best with
we'll
computer.
Go together." And then JD Vance
knows
is like,
everything about computer.
I'll go too, because people can't see me fucking couches or whatever. And so they all go to Mars and just die. And that'd be the funniest fucking thing ever. Just a Twitter argument and just
Elon
die
Musk is
into fucking Mars.
He wants to die on Mars, and I want him to as well. Please go die.
Sometimes the parachutes just don't work.
They just crash.
You'll see the JD Vance fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Fuck. JD Vance, fuck, marry, kill. Fuck, couch, marry, wife, kill, Pope.
You know the way we land things on Mars is basically a bouncy castle?
I did know that.
Elon
Musk makes going to Mars sound really lame because he's involved. However, come on, a bouncy castle landing
interplanetary bouncy castles. Let's go.
Like going to Mars was cool until this guy got involved, actually, and hopefully someday it'll be cool again.
What were we talking about? Cycles
of what were we talking about?
I don't know. You just brought up the Fermi paradox. Oh, because we were talking about hoping Musk would just crash land on some alien planet.
And before that, we were talking about popes, and
because I said we should nuke Europe.
Nuking Europe, yes.
We got through the part about how
Europeans invented race.
They invented racism to do slavery.
All right, well, that was a great outtake for the Patreon, everyone. Good job, thank you.
We have a Patreon?
No.
Give me money.
Yeah.
I'll make one after this
money
episode.
Me.
We got 4 episodes of outtakes.
Money
we can
me
put some stuff
alone.
on there.
Hell yeah. I'm gonna vomit.
Do you need to take a break?
No,
money me.
Are you gonna not take a break but still vomit?
No. I just feel nauseous.
I see. So anyway, cycles, much like the Milankovitch cycle, credit versus soup seems to exist on a cycle of dominance throughout history.
Yeah, good. I have them written down here. I'm not in my kitchen grabbing estrogen.
So anyway,
I'm not in the kitchen. I'm in the podcast room doing podcasts.
So anyway, history that now I want to emphasize that Graeber is not saying that this is universally true in all of the world at all times in all places, but just general trends that there seems to be a sort of cycle between the dominance, not necessarily the total control or the of the absence of the other, but a cycle of dominance between credit money versus like bullion, which I don't believe is soup. I think it actually refers to precious metals for some reason.
Coinage.
The other stuff.
Oh,
like gems. Using
specific precious objects to treat them as money instead of just credit agreements. And he describes the first, civilizations proper as being dominated by credit money, followed by the you have it all listed out. I didn't actually list the dates in my notes. The first agrarian empires, 3500 to 800 BC, used credit money. The Axial Age, like Greece and Rome, essentially, 800 BC to 680, utilized coinage. Followed by the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, of 600 to 1450 AD, where virtual credit money took over again. And then the age of capitalist empires, from 1450 to 1971, where coinage once again...
It's coinage, I forgot to write it.
Coinage once again takes over. And then in 1971, when Nixon unpegs the dollar from gold, and we're back in virtual credit money world again.
Which is very recent in comparison to how big these trends are.
The thing is, it was
hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that
1,000 for one of them.
I mean, they exist for hundreds to thousands of years, on their own. But we also don't know a lot. We know some, we don't know nothing, but we don't know a lot about, specific policy changes or things like that throughout world history. Whereas we literally have a very specific act by a very specific global power that determined what money what money is going to be for the foreseeable future in 1971. So that's why we have a very specific date for that one, whereas the other ones are kind of like, kind of. It's arguable how much influence Spanish gold in, the early 1400s had over the economy of China. Obviously, there was some amount of influence, but who knows, Whereas, 1971, the world's conception of money changed.
I do like that the war being a driving force for change of the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can steal bullion.
Mm-hmm. It also points out that when dealing in credit instead of coins, soldiers are a very, very bad investment. If you make a loan to a soldier and they freaking die, then you're just not getting your money back. But if you pay and are paid in, real money in gold, or whatever other precious metal you've decided is money, then that's it. That's the end of transaction. It's immediate. There's no future to it. Then that makes a lot more sense when dealing with soldiers and mercenaries.
I would argue that you did say that the without slavery, the cash dried up, or whatever, went back to credit. I think, that can kind of be made as a generalized argument for the switching back to credit money, that after a certain amount of expansion, it kind of becomes harder to have, precious metals backing currency.
Mm-hmm.
Which, 1970s is a pretty good point of expansion of economy after World War II for a couple decades of just constant expansion. Eventually it just kind of becomes unreasonable to be like, oh yeah, this is the only currency that can be floating around at any given time. People got to be making big moves.
Also, I feel like these...
There's also a significant change in technology in the 20th century, where now we can use computers to track virtual credit money, whereas previously they did not have computers, at least computers to the extent that we have. And thus, we can, those with power in society can have all the advantages of credit money, things like interest, things like debt, things like, rich people money, where they live off of loans, but they don't ever have to, they live off of loans, but it's not a burden to them, but they can make other people live off of loans, and it is a burden. All paired with the advantages to them of bullion, which is that, it's immediate, it's anonymous. There's, the notion of social obligation that comes with virtual money in previous eras of human history, that it's based on ongoing relationships, does not have to remain true at all in an era of high technological advancement. where the money exists as notes in a computer that can be transferred all over the world at instantaneously, and can be transferred between people instantaneously. Whereas in previous eras, it could take forms similar, but was less global, less impersonal.
They also had jubilees and stuff more often. They wiped that shit off the map.
Why don't we have those?
Bring those back. It's in the fucking Bible. You wanna make America great again? Go back to the Christian tradition of killing creditors,
and also
throwing loan sharks out of fucking churches.
Actually, we do kill creditors sometimes.
Yeah, but it's not like
once.
It's not nearly enough of a problem where they have to find a solution to the fact that people just kill their creditors instead of paying debts.
I heard it here first, folks. Kill your creditors.
Oops. Anyway.
Hold on, wait. That might constitute an actionable threat.
Yeah, that one's... That
There's going to be a lot of 1,000 hertz tones in this.
Oh.
So yeah.
Let's see. Well, that's pretty much it for my notes.
Yeah, he describes the the economies of the first age of money, in the second half of this chapter. It's shorter. It only takes up half of a chapter, and the chapter is shorter than the future chapters just due to lack of as much information to things 5,000 years ago as opposed to things 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago.
I also have a note on the fact that he points out that the idea of debt kind of begets lie and sin in a society. Mm-hmm. People are more likely to lie and steal and stuff in a society with that. And I just wrote, it's amazing how often we are punished for civilizing.
One thing I wanted to note is that he points out a stark contrast between Mesopotamia and Egypt, where it took Egypt a lot longer to develop credit at interest than in Mesopotamia. Whereas Mesopotamia, they're we're loaning at interest from the beginning. We have figured this out. We can make money off of money. Whereas Egypt did not do that. And I posit that it was the presence of alligators. There were no alligators in Mesopotamia, to my knowledge. Right. There aren't alligators in Egypt. Crocodiles.
Yeah, because the moment someone does usury.
Look at a crocodile and tell me that you're comfortable doing usury in that thing's presence.
Yeah, right?
If they just knew that if they loaned at interest, the crocodiles would come for them. I don't know. There's probably crocodiles in Mesopotamia.
Just fucking throw them in the river. What are they gonna do about it?
So someone quickly look if there's crocodiles in the Middle East.
Usury? Really?
Usury. I've always heard it usury.
Usury.
Oh, hold up. Let's ask a Wiktionary.
Okay, I'll deal with the crocodiles then.
Usury.
Use what? Yeah, let me ask a robot how to pronounce human language. That'd go well.
Fuck.
You do the AI.
Throughout the tropics. Oh, this is terrible.
It's fucking horrible.
Come on. Oh
Ah,
my God! I'm such a
man.
genius. Look at that! No crocodiles there.
Yeah,
Let's go!
Mesopotamia,
Let's
crocodile
go!
free,
Let's go!
theory
No
vindicated.
theory vindicated. Absolute truth.
Yeah, but were there ever? Hold on. Now I'm gonna get on Google.
No crocodiles in Mesopotamia. Don't tell me there's crocodiles in Mesopotamia. There aren't crocodiles in Mesopotamia.
There are crocodiles in Mesopotamia.
Historical territory of crocodiles going back 5,000 years. Please, you're never gonna find it. All right, next book on the Black Flag book bag reading list: History of Crocodiles.
Become a member to unlock this lesson. Mesopotamians domesticated many animals such as goats and cattle.
Did they domesticate crocodiles?
Yeah, I don't think that's...
I think
Greyhound dogs. Damn, they were living up.
Damn, they had a bus system. Right. We should domesticate crocodiles.
Important crocodile question. Why are there no crocodiles in the Tigris and Euphrates? Holy shit.
Oh no, I'm doing Una stuff right now. No, it's somebody saying that the absence of crocodiles in Mesopotamia might be a mistranslation of the word kusu.
What?
This is an Una thing. This is I'm doing Una work right now. Oh, crocodiles! I'm posting it. I don't know if that's actually what it says.
Here's a
but
Reddit post. I'm gonna
yeah.
just read this out loud if that's okay.
There might.
It's possible that
No,
historically
don't read.
mugger crocodiles
I
existed
posted
there.
academia.
Oh, hold on. It's possible that historically mugger crocodiles existed there. Crocodiles don't fare well when human agriculture overlaps with them, and this can be seen clearly in Egypt, further exacerbated by dams. It's unclear if Sumer discussed crocodiles or not, as there is contention over the translation of the word kusu, turtle, crab, crocodile, unsure, water beast of some kind. Then OP responds, but aren't Nile crocodiles still present in Egypt despite massive agricultural presence? Surely it wouldn't make crocodiles entirely abandon Mesopotamia. So theory holds up. Theory vindicated, proven, 100% true. The reason crocodiles still exist in Egypt is because they revered them and held off on inventing loaning at interest.
Also, I would like to point out that there is no functional difference between an article on academia.edu and a Reddit post.
Yeah, that is also true.
They are the same people.
Literally anyone can post anything to academia.
Will you go post something on fucking academia.edu?
Okay.
I have done it before.
Yeah, go do it. Go why I'm a big gay nerd.
I posted
By Chloe and Una.
I posted my article about shoplifting on it because someone kept going on about how it's not real. So I put it on there to be like, see, it's on a .edu website.
You should submit it to a scientific journal or some shit.
So anyway, as of now, there are no crocodiles in Mesopotamia. And as we know, Mesopotamia today exists in the exact state that it did 5,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
I'm going to go sneak crocodiles into Mesopotamia and be like...
Why are you so opposed to me and my theories?
Like, fuck you.
Not to be a...
Fuck you, Chloe.
Like
fuck you.
Nationalist, but it has not changed in the past.
No, they did the first man-made climate change happened in the Fertile Crescent because they like fucking agricultured and deforested too much and turned it into a fucking desert.
It's so cool how they did that. Like
empires.
People writing in the 1400s about history were like, isn't it intriguing how ancient peoples managed to do agriculture to fertilize this desert? And then, like, 600 years later, we've figured out that, no, actually, they drained a swamp. It wasn't a desert before.
Egyptian Donald Trump talking about draining a swamp.
They're saying we can't drain the swamp. they, they, they say Ramesses II, you can't drain the swamp, and I tell him I'm gonna drain the swamp. We're gonna no more trees. We're gonna have beautiful walkways, beautiful desert, hard ground to walk on, irrigation canals. We're gonna take all the water out of the soil. We're gonna put it in the canals.
We're gonna scam so many tourists.
Okay. New time travel option. Rice in Egypt.
Kind of banger.
Mm-hmm.
Rice in Italy.
No, shut up.
Mid. All
right,
counterpoint.
Consider.
Rice in Italy.
Rice in Mexico. What if we just handed them all the tools?
Okay.
We just gave them everything they needed to produce the best cuisine on the planet.
My wife is trying her best to avoid the existence of Mexico City. Can we get a red card on this?
Listen, I just want the greatest food culture in the world to exist without necessitating European colonization.
Cool.
That's
if
all.
They could do agriculture in the fucking swamps, then they're not gonna build fucking Mexico City there.
They can do both.
They're not gonna do both.
They can do both.
No.
We can have corn and rice.
Yeah, we could have corn and rice, but they're not going to put Mexico City there anymore.
They do beans.
There's going to be like 3
chilies.
different cities, and none of them are going to be CDMX.
And chilies. They got chilies, they got beans, they got corn, and we'll give them rice.
Oh, fuck. Just give them peppers as well.
Sure. They've got potatoes, they've got tomatoes. They've got everything they need. They're just missing the rice. And garlic. We could give them garlic and onion.
Give them peppers, but if they start making paprika just to make deviled eggs, we take them away.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So what are you doing on your time travel trip? What are you using your time machine for? Hopefully nothing useful.
I'm taking a
to Mesopotamia.
No. I'm taking a javelin missile launcher, and when Constantine paints the cross on his shield during that battle, I'm like hitting him from a hill, like with a javelin missile launcher.
Imagine you paint a cross on your shield, and the something that you could only explain as an act of God strikes you down.
Yeah, and I will ensure that Catholicism will never exist, and the only thing that Christianity will be is like the cool fucking Gnostics who sat around smoking weed, being like, we should like destroy the government.
You're trying too hard to change
things. They
might not go the way you want.
All day.
Consider. You could do fun things instead.
No.
Yeah, like introduce rice to Mexico.
Yeah, or drop acid with Joan of Arc. I think that'd be good.
Or
one of my important time travel stops. This is an attempt to change things. I'm going to behead William the Conqueror.
Fair.
Oh, are you doing an anti England thing?
No, I mean kind of. It's I don't care so much about England and what they do. What I care about is preventing the Norman conquest of England. I disapprove of the French influence over the English language, and I want to prevent that from happening.
What if we let the Norman conquest
I
happen,
have
but
a
we
similar
gave
alternative
the Moors
one.
better boats?
Ooh. I like your thinking, Kat.
Yeah, see, the problem is that you're trying to directly change something for happening. Encouraging other things to happen is much easier.
I think that's probably true. Telling the Moors,
I have the opposite.
By the way, okay, so those boats, Take them a little bit outside of the Mediterranean. North. All right, now a little bit east. All right, perfect. You know, that's Ireland. Okay, keep going. All right, there we go.
I have an opposite thing that I would do in relation to England with time travel. I think I got this off of Matt Christman. I think. Not
Why
sure.
do we always talk about
But
Matt Christman on our podcast? Stop talking about other podcasters on this podcast. It's like you're cheating on us.
no. But I would also fill in the English channel with a fucking bulldozer. I do, you know, England being a fucking you know, separated from the mainland, allowed it to do way too much shit, and that's how we got the worst kind of capitalism.
I would go in...
Because there would have been way better forms of capitalism. Like, if we got Islamic capitalism, that would have been so chill.
Give the Moors better boats.
What no one wants to talk about is that we actually are living under Italian capitalism.
Yeah, but it got like stored in a laboratory in England for a while, where they were able to figure out how many children you can put in fucking horrible conditions before people try to kill you.
But the Italians invented like capital,
And then they did it in America.
finance.
You guys need more chaos with your time travel. Like, give the Danish guns in like the 400s.
I would take my pickaxe and my shovel and I would go hollow out England. I'd leave enough at the surface so that they'd be like, we found coal. This is so good. And then they dig a few feet down and it's like, why is everything hollow? Someone already got to it.
What is this, Minecraft?
Yes. I don't play Minecraft.
I'd fill England with creepers. Oh wait, that's the
It
royal
already
family.
is. Yo.
Deforest all of the cork in Portugal. I think that have great consequences for Brazil in the modern day, I think.
Everybody always forgets about Portugal's empire.
I never forget about Portugal. Shout out to Portugal.
Do you remember the old like the fucking Twitter tankies who would put fucking like Portugal in their map of actually existing socialist countries? It'd be like Portugal and Brazil and shit.
What? Was that
What
a
are you
thing?
fucking talking about?
What?
You don't remember that shit? It was always the stupidest fucking countries. It was like India. It's like, what are you talking about?
People just don't know anything about Portugal, so they assume that it's socialist.
Oh, okay.
They did drugs, so it's probably cool.
So anyway, I think we've learned everything that we could possibly learn about the first agrarian empires. Join us next week when we talk about the Axial Age and the Middle Age. Hooray! And join us eventually when we get around to reading Against the Grain, A Deep History of the Earliest States by James C. Scott, in which we'll learn more about the first agrarian empires. Very cool. Bye.
Hell yeah.
I know, we just kind of like are talking about whatever the fuck now. I don't think we...
Yeah,
This is long. We have long since stopped talking about the book.